Hey everyone, happy Thursday. It is December 4th, and wow, what a day we had in the market today. Before we jump into the charts, I am Phil with the TradeLab Discord. I'm one of the co-owners here, and at TradeLab we have three different services. I'll have a link in the description if you're interested in learning more or joining us. One of our services, the service that we started with, is a credit spread service. I offer a credit spread at 10:40 a.m. Eastern Time every day, and Lance offers a separate one at around 10 a.m. Eastern Time every day. So you get both of those with our credit spread service. We also have SPY ATM, where we buy a simple call or a put at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. We tell you the strike and we give you the take profit, the stop loss, and we even tell you how many contracts you should take based on your account size. And our newest service is the SRX support and resistance system. You can see it here on Discord, and you can see all of this put into the indicator with some extra touches on TradingView. All you do is copy this right here and you paste it into your indicator and all this goodness happens. But here are the support and resistance levels that we alerted at 9:50 a.m. This system is different than anything you've ever seen before. These levels are not calculated inside of TradingView. This is not your typical TradingView indicator. These levels are calculated fresh every morning. We analyze thousands of candles and almost 20,000 data points to come up with these levels every morning. And you can see how accurate they are. Look at how well these levels hold throughout the day. So we're going to jump into all this in just a moment. But first, let's talk about our SPY ATM play for the day. Okay, so our SPY ATM play, let's go over right here to the alerts. You can see it was a put, and yeah, this did not end up the way we wanted it to. So we were right here at 10:30, called a put, and what do you know? It just went right against us. And check this out. The stop loss was 98 cents, and right here at this wick, that was 98 cents. So if you held on to this mechanically, which is a way that you can play this system, you can set it and forget it and walk away. If you played it like that, you did hit your stop today. With the exception of one person, there was one person in our group that I guess 98 flashed on their screen, but it didn't quite hit. So yeah, they ended up taking profit on this. So that's fantastic. But for those of us that aren't set it and forget it, and we're in the SRX system, we were able to save this trade and either break even or take a small loss, or some people even made a profit on it. Right here at 10:30, as we're entering, I'm telling everybody that if we get a 5-minute close over this S1 zone, and I'll zoom in a little bit here so we can see this a little bit better. This is our candle right here that we're looking at. So if we got to close above this, I was going to exit. If this went in our favor, I was going to take it past the take profit, at least with a runner, and try and go down here. This is our S2 level. I was going to take it down to S2. Now, obviously, it went in the wrong direction. So I got out right here, and I believe it was a 9% loss. So instead of taking that loss all the way up to here, I was able to get out right here based on SRX. And a lot of people took that with me. Now, what's interesting is we came up here and we started getting this rejection of R1. Several of us saw this wicking and we jumped right back in. I jumped into the same exact contract after we had already wicked up here. I jumped right back into that and I rode that down. Now I took mine off early. What I did with mine is I took a 10% loss here. So when I had a 10% profit here, I cut it. And so my SPY ATM play, even though it was a loss, I broke even. Now, some people rode this down and they were able to get a nice profit off of what would have been a losing trade. So if you're in SPY ATM already, which I would encourage you to get into SPY ATM, it is a great system. Even if you don't have time to watch the charts, it works. It's a mechanical system that has a positive expectancy. But if you're in SRX, you can use this to your advantage to either take more money off the SPY ATM play if it starts to profit, or you can cut it earlier. A lot of times, I think the last 3 losses that we've had with SPY ATM, I've cut all of them early. 2 of them I cut for a 20% loss, I believe, and today I cut it for 10%, and then like I said, I grabbed this on the way down and negated that, so it was really a break-even day for me. All right, so let's look at some of the SRX plays today, and we had a lot of them. So I'm gonna have to show you the Post Your Profits channel in our Discord. And I've got some messages that are forwarded from our chat room. So I can't go through the chat. There's just way too much in there. So this is the easiest way to look at some of this. So before SPY ATM at 10:30, I had an 11% scalp at, this was at 10:09. This was a put. And then I've got Erwin who just says he did a scalp from S1 to S2. So big move there, S1 to S2. This would be Aiden, Celtic Trader. He had several nice scalps, 91 to 97, 108 to 124. This is Lance doing the same thing that I did. We're in the SPY ATM put, and it didn't work out. But right here on this reversal, we saw this, and we jumped in. So this is Lance doing that. And look at that. He went 113 with 5 contracts to 147. He had a trailing stop on that. And then I post in here that SRX saved the day. ATM was a stop, but I was able to exit early when I saw bullish movement on SRX. I then re-entered the ATM play right near stop loss when we were at resistance, and it grabbed enough profit to counter the small ATM loss, making ATM a break even instead of a 40% loss. SRX has saved me from the last 3 ATM losses. This is a bad trader. This is where he took this amazing play right here, 134 to 180. That is a really, really good play there. All right, so let's jump back down. We've got other people talking about SPY ATM. So Zip Tie Engineer, again, SPY ATM was a loss today, but look at what he did with SRX. He was in at 158. He exited at 136 based on SRX, but then he jumped back in at 125 and 137, and he exited at 167 with SRX and made 28 bucks. So instead of making a loss today, he actually made profit. Here's another one, a bad trader. I think this was his counter SPY ATM play as well, 114 to 153. That was almost 35% profit. That was based on this as well. So the SRX levels are really killing it today. All right, so tons of plays. Here's Lance showing his. He bought a 284 put for 63, sold it for 72. And here's the proof of that. This is our credit spread closing. SRX again. Look at all these. He's showing 61 to 68, small scalps there. We've got someone saying SRX doing great work for me today. Took the R1 play at noon, entered at 134 and out at 182 at S1 touch. Boom. So let's look at that. R1 at noon right here. R1 to S1. Look how quick that play was. And he took that from 134 to 182, which is amazing. And then I finally jump back in and have some fun. So 36% in 39 seconds with SRX, 108 to 147. This was at 2:20 Eastern. So let's hop over to the chart. All right, so we had this nice, beautiful dot here. This is what I was waiting for, is this break of S2, and I only took a very small portion of this. This went down a lot further, but I saw it was up over 40%, and I just marketed out, and it ended up popping up just a little bit, so I got out at 36%. Then I come back just a few minutes later, and I took another one, 24% in under a minute, so 58 to 72. And you can see the timestamps here. So I was doing the same thing. It was popping up here again and rejecting, and I just took it again. Then I'm taking the pops down from S1, and that was 20% in 2 minutes. And then we've got all sorts of scalps here, 50 to 54, 71 to 78, 47 to 57. And then I'm back again for another play, 36.36 in under a minute, 33.245. If you want to know how to play this, just a very brief explanation. We're coming down into this and we're hitting this area right here. You're going to stop out down here or take profit up here, and just wait until you're in this zone, and your stop is very small, and look at how far your profit is. And this is happening over and over again. You had an opportunity right here and up, you had an opportunity right here and up, and an opportunity right here and up. You had the opportunity the opposite way as well, where you can take right in here, your stop's a little bit outside here, and you're going down. And then when you pop out of here, we've got plays up to here. So really easy. It's just support and resistance. And it takes some time to practice this and learn what works and what doesn't. But you can see this is pretty clean. I'm drawing along with my cursor. We don't even stop here. We blow straight past that. But then look, we go right back in here. And then we reject off that, down into here. And then we don't quite make it up here. Go back down. And then now we're at end of day. So I don't know if you want to play this stuff, but we popped out of this and then into R2. If you watch this long enough, you will start to figure out these plays. And until then, just watch people in the chat room, talk with us. We're in here. That is also what sets this apart from other systems. This is a full chat room. Look at all these messages. We're in here. I'm in here. Lance is in here. And some really good scalpers are in here all day calling out plays. Yeah, we're here. We're even throwing up the memes. So we have a lot of fun in here. All right, we'll be back here tomorrow on Friday. And let's see if we can get some of these really good arrow plays that I like.